Welcome to the Brain Alpha. Today, we're unpacking a concept from legendary American business philosopher Jim Rohn, and it's a premise that completely flips the script on how we look at achievement. You know, most of us are completely obsessed with the hustle. We're constantly hunting for that next life hack, the ultimate morning routine, or some massive new strategy to add to our daily grind to make us successful. But during his own rise from absolute rock bottom to massive success, Rohn figured out something fundamentally different. He realized it literally does not matter how many good habits you stack up if you're secretly harboring toxic ones. Just one bad habit can completely destroy decades of good ones. It's kind of like trying to fill a bucket with water when there's a massive hole right in the bottom. So in this explainer, we're going to take a really close look at the 7 specific habits that Rohn identified as absolute success killers.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First up, the silent success killers. Second, apathy and indecision. Third, doubt and worry traps. Fourth, timidity and pessimism. Fifth, the toxicity of complaining. And finally, number 6, taking back your power. We're going to aggressively dismantle these roadblocks today.
Section 1. The silent success killers. Identifying the garbage holding you back.
As driven professionals navigating today's super fast-paced hustle culture, we're pretty much always taught to focus on addition, right? Add more skills, put in more hours, do more networking. But practicing true extreme ownership over your life actually requires subtraction. It means taking a really hard, honest look in the mirror and knowing exactly which toxic behaviors you need to cut out entirely. One bad habit can destroy 10 good ones. Let that sink in for a second. Think of these 7 habits as literal trash just sitting right in the middle of your living room. You could buy the most expensive furniture, you could paint the walls beautifully, but if you don't take the trash out, the whole house is going to reek. These habits will slowly and silently poison your entrepreneurial spirit. So let's take the trash out.
Section 2. Apathy and indecision. The trap of waiting.
We're dealing with 2 massive roadblocks here. The first is apathy. That's that completely modern phenomenon of just doing the bare minimum to get by at your 9 to 5, basically just waiting for the clock to hit 5 p.m. And the second is indecision, where you're just waiting around for the quote-unquote perfect chance. Look at the stark contrast between these 2 mindsets. On one side, we've got the lazy mindset, oh, I'll wait for the perfect chance, or I'll work hard when I finally get my real passion project. But on the flip side is the hustler's truth. You absolutely must give 100% right now. Listen, if you have a habit of only giving 50% to the boring tasks, you're literally training your brain to be mediocre. If your baseline is set to apathy, when that $1 million opportunity finally knocks on your door, you won't even know how to give 100% anymore.
So, the crucial point is right here. Indecision is worse than a wrong choice. Action creates experience. Let's say you're debating whether to start a business or stay at a corporate job you absolutely despise. A lot of folks just sit on the fence for years. But staying at a job you hate out of pure fear is infinitely worse than making a choice, launching the startup, failing miserably, and then pivoting. Why? Because the failure actually gave you experience. Sitting on the fence just gives you splinters and wasted years.
Section 3. Doubt and worry traps. The illusion of needing confidence first. This brings us to habits 3 and 4. Self-doubt, which convinces you to quit before you even begin, and worry, which is just an endless cycle of stressing over things you simply cannot control. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is considering this fundamental question. Where does confidence actually come from? Because most people think, man, if I just had more confidence, I'd finally start that business or I'd ask for that promotion. They treat confidence like it's a prerequisite, like it's a ticket you have to buy before you can ride the ride. But Jim Rohn's philosophy tells us that this way of thinking is completely backwards.
Confidence is a byproduct born strictly from action. Think about a toddler who's learning to walk. They don't sit in their crib reading books on the biomechanics of walking to build up their confidence first, right? They stand up, they fall flat on their face, and they get back up. They just take action. You really don't need confidence to start. You can start with a bluff, you can start while you're completely terrified. True, unshakable confidence is forged entirely in the fire of doing. Now let's look at the worry trap. We constantly waste so much of our time worrying about massive things like the American economy, inflation, Wall Street, or the latest wave of corporate layoffs. We stress about our health, our relationships, our job security, but here is some tough love for us all. Sitting on your couch, stressing about interest rates or corporate downsizing fixes absolutely nothing. It doesn't put a single dime in your bank account, and it certainly doesn't make your boss keep you on the payroll.
Worry is wasted energy.
Really let that hit you hard. Worrying is basically like paying a debt you don't even owe. It just drains the ambition and the life force right out of you, leaving you way too exhausted to actually work on the things you can control. You've got to drop the anxiety. Whenever you feel that worry creeping in, immediately pivot your focus entirely to action and countermeasures. Just ask yourself, what can I actually do about this today? And if the answer is nothing, drop it.
Section 4. Timidity in Pessimism. The Fear of the World. So this is all about habits 5 and 6. Timidity is being overly cautious, basically letting the fear of failure dictate your boundaries in life. And pessimism is its ugly cousin, constantly looking for the negative and expecting the absolute worst. Look at the choice we all have to make here. Risking failure versus the guarantee of regret. Listen, from the exact moment you're born, life is inherently risky. Driving on the highway is risky. Falling in love is risky. Starting a career, totally risky. But trying to play it entirely safe doesn't actually protect you. It actually guarantees the ultimate, most agonizing pain of all, the undeniable regret of what could have been.
I absolutely love this quote because it channels Jim Rohn's core philosophy so well. It is better to live 30 years of adventure than 100 years hiding in the corner. Seriously, why be a complacent couch potato for a century, doing nothing, contributing nothing, just to say you survived safely? We are meant to take calculated risks. We're meant to step into the arena. Do not let timidity rob you of your life's great adventure.
And this brilliantly illustrates the trap of pessimism. Stop staring at the dirt on the window. Look at the sunset. We see this all the time today, especially online. People who build their whole identity around complaining, canceling, and pointing out the flaws in literally everything. Optimists find solutions and they succeed. Pessimists just find the dirt, they complain about the dirt, and ultimately they fail. You have to train your brain to look past the smudge and see the massive opportunities sitting right in front of you.
Section 5. The toxicity of complaining. The victim mentality.
This is the 7th, the absolute loudest and arguably the most destructive habit of them all. The habit of complaining about your boss, your salary, or your circumstances. It's this pervasive belief that the world is somehow doing something to you. But here is the ultimate pull yourself up by your bootstraps reality check. Playing the victim actively repels success. You chose your situation. If you've got a terrible boss and a low salary, remember that you applied for that job. You accepted that offer. It's time to take extreme ownership. The exact moment you stop complaining and depreciating your own value is the exact moment you start taking control.
Section 6. Taking back your power. Eradicating the 7 habits. Let's move to and see how this builds into our actionable solution.
Now that we've ruthlessly broken down the problem, we need to transition into execution. Here's your framework for changing your life. Step 1. Identify which of these 7 toxic habits you actually struggle with the most. Step 2. Take extreme ownership. No more excuses. Step 3. Execute daily baby steps toward action. Look, you can't rewire your brain overnight, but you can definitely commit to small, decisive actions starting right now. Replace one complaint with one solution. Turn one worry into one action item.
Take action today. The clock is ticking. The fatal risk in life isn't trying and failing. The fatal risk is doing absolutely nothing while the sands of time just slip right through your fingers. You have the power to drop these toxic habits today, right now, and completely rewrite your future. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.